welcome to the Galactic Mind Weather Report. So I'm coming to you today in the center of the Blue Eagle Wavespell. So this is 13 days that we've been moving through dedicated to the planting of the seeds of our visions, of evolving our capacity to rise up out of the chaos, out of the noise and the conflict of life, to get our bellies off the ground, to rise up and get the higher perspective, to be able to look around us and see that the order in the chaos, the order in the disorder, to see that there is a plan in the madness, and to really identify what is the plan that I resonate with. What piece am I a seed for? What am I planting in my world? What am I bringing forth into this reality? And so today marks the center of this wave spell, and it's the red Resonant Dragon is the archetype. And I was dropping into this today and feeling into it and almost feeling like I wasn't going to be able to get the weather report done. I've just arrived home. It's around 10 o'clock in the evening here in Perth, Western Australia. And then I suddenly thought, all I've got is this darkness, and around me is surrounding, there's this beauty all around me. Behind me is incredible nature. In the distance I can hear the frogs in the creeks. And in the far distance I can hear some party happening in the hills. But behind me is so much magnificence. But we can't see it right now. And it kind of made me reflect a little bit on what it takes to plant the seed of a vision in our reality, in our lives. That when you plant a seed, you plant it in the soil, and that little seed goes into this deep, dark hole, and then we cover it up with manure. And it sits there in this darkness, and it takes time. It takes time and patience for this seed to find itself, to begin to get the courage to crack open, to believe in its vision, to believe in what this seed, the potential that it has to bring into the world. And when it feels that darkness surrounding it, it creates this force, this impetus that gives the seed no choice but to crack open and to begin its journey into greatness. And even then, when the seed first cracks, it takes more time. It takes time for the roots to begin to form, to move through the manure, to feel into its place, to get an anchoring of the seed's intention, to anchor in the vision's intention. So that when it begins to grow, when it begins to turn up out of the surface, that seed begins to pop through into the sunlight and be seen by all the animals, to be seen by life itself. It gets all the attention, this flower beginning to blossom. Everything starts looking at it and seeing it. The winds start blowing it. And if it wasn't for taking the time in the darkness to find its roots and anchor itself deeply into its location, that flower, that tree would blow over, would be knocked about by the animals. It wouldn't last. And so it's the same for our visions. That there will be a vision that you have in your heart that you'll be really feeling into this last week, that'll be turning up all around you, getting your attention. And there'll be a part of you that wants to rush to that vision, that wants it now, that wants to go straight ahead from here to there. There's this impatience in our humanity that wants that peace, that wants that serenity, that wants the love, wants to be able to open our hearts now. But first we need to allow the darkness. We need to allow the shadows to feed us, to motivate us, to anchor our visions deep inside ourselves first, before we share them with the world. And so my reflection here is something which has taken me many years to really, anchor into myself is that when we get these visions, when we get these insights and these epiphanies in our life and we see the bigger picture, our first instinct sometimes is to run around and tell everyone. We want people to hear us. We want to share it on social media. We live in a world that encourages us to just spread it instantaneously. But what I noticed is when I rushed too quickly, when I shared things too quickly, then I would meet resistance. It might challenge someone else's vision. It might challenge someone else's perspective. It might trigger someone's fears or their woundings. And instead of getting this beautiful, reassuring feeling of, yeah, that's a great idea, Mark, I would be met with some resistance that would then kind of knock me over a little bit and knock the steam out of my sails and make me feel like maybe this vision isn't real after all. Maybe it's just a fantasy. Maybe everyone's right. I'd start again. That's what I've come to learn. So sometimes it's nice to take those little visions, those breakthroughs and those bigger pictures, those moments of insight that we get, and just first hold them and nurture them inside ourselves first. Allow them some time to just get root in our heart, in our being, before we go sharing it. And make sure that it is our vision and really feel into it and let it anchor in. And if we just allow it some time, what I've noticed is just like a child birthing, that vision will go through phases of conception. You'll think that you've got the full vision, and a few days later, it'll start morphing and changing. A few days later, it will morph and change a little more and evolve. And over the weeks and the months, this vision will morph and evolve. If you just hold it inside like a precious jewel, nurture it. Give it a sacred space in your being, create a journal, vision board, or whatever it is, and give it some love. Nurture the seed of your vision, and don't think of it as the finished vision. Think of it as like a child. It will go through its phases of maturity. And don't rush to tell everyone. You can keep it like a beautiful, precious jewel. And then as it begins to get its roots inside your being, begin to share bit by bit. You don't need to share everything straight away. Begin to test the waters a little bit and maybe share a bit of your vision with those around you. And you'll begin to see who are the beautiful gardeners of the future, who are there to nurture and water that vision with you, to water the seeds of your vision. And surround yourself with those gardeners. Surround yourself with those people that nurture you and that are open to your vision. And gently begin to bring that vision into the world. And if you allow it that time to anchor its roots in your being first, then you'll be able to move forwards in a steady manner with core stability. And your vision will be able to withstand all the winds of resistance from around you. It will be able to stay strong, no matter the opinions and thoughts of anyone you might share it with. And you'll find courage to believe in yourself, to believe in that higher vision that you have. So for the rest of this Blue Eagle Wavespell, allow yourself to dream the greatest dreams, to vision and see and feel. More than anything, what we want to do is feel where our vision is heading. Not so much describe it or structure it, but just to tap in to what is the essence, the quintessence of your vision. What does it feel like? And hold that, nurture that, and plant that seed deep. Until next Wavespell, so much love in Lakesh.